It's time for another episode of Hops and Hedges, where we talk everything beer and landscaping and everything in between. So crack open a cold one and let's dig in. There we go. And we are on the podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. With me today, I've got Pam Cook from Clintar Operations here in London, Ontario. Clintar Commercial Outdoor Services is the proper name. Yes. So Pam, how are you?
Good. How are you, Heather?
Excellent. Welcome. So Pam, for those who don't know you, who are you? What do you do? And yeah, who are you? What do you do?
Yeah, who am I and what I do? So my name's Pam Cook, and I have been in the London area for about the last 20 years. I work as a account manager over at Clintar in London. And I am everything plant geek. That is kind of like the nature of what I do, I'm pretty sure. And then everything kind of goes out from there. So I wear the plant geek, tree geek hat pretty proudly.
Yeah.
But yeah, and have worn all the hats when it comes to landscaping, from like commercial maintenance to landscape design build to nursery greenhouse and tree services. It's every part is my favorite. So
Yeah.
that's kind of me of a nutshell. Yeah.
You really are like a Jane of all trades within landscape profession. It's like, I don't know how many times over the years, I've texted you a photo of something, whether it's bark or a twig, or that one time there was that really cool green leaf hopper bug that I can't even remember what it's called right now. It's not a leaf hopper, it's something else, but really cool. And you're like, oh, that's what this is. And it was just really cool. So you're definitely my go-to person for tree ID.
Thank you.
And I'm on a job site and I'm like, I don't know the answer to that. Let me just text my personal expert that I've got on speed dial here and see what she has to say. So
I dig it. That's awesome.
So you've been with Clintar now for 5 years.
Yes, I have.
And before that, you were with CLC Tree Services. Right?
Yeah.
And they're another local company, arborist type thing. So what did you do there and how long were you with them for?
So I'm pretty sure I feel like everything's dusty in the background in my memory, but I'm pretty sure I was there for 3-ish years. My role there was coming on board, kind of wearing 2 hats because of the seasonality of their business. So the main part was to come on as their plant healthcare expert. So everything trees, everything landscape when it came to diseasing defining pests and pathogens and what's happening, and pretty much just being the plant detective out in the field, which was super fun and cool. And then actually in the winter, I changed hats and I was a Christmas light installer and designer. So that was really fun, actually.
Too funny. So, and that's part of why I think I associate you with diagnosing things or issues, whether it's pest or disease or whichever. But even before that, so I mean, you've been in London for 20 years now.
Yep.
But can we go back in time? Because I always think of us landscape professionals as superheroes. And on the podcast, I'm starting to refer it to as your origin story as a superhero. Okay. So how did it all begin for you? Like, did you wake up one morning, you're like, I'm going to work with trees? And actually, I know a bit of the story because you were in the Landscape Ontario magazine. But for those who haven't read it, it's a really great story and we want to hear it.
For sure. Yeah. So I grew up in Thunder Bay, and realistically, like the nature, like the forest was my playground. We didn't do all of the playgroundy things like you do sort of in the city. Like I just walked outside and the forest was my playground. So I've always had sort of this like rooted interest in nature and outdoors, and it kind of like heals my soul, to be in all honesty. But my grandma passed away when I was in my late teens, and she was an avid plant collector, like a crazy, like she was the original crazy plant lady if there ever was one. And when she passed away, actually my aunt was like, do you want some of these plants? And I went, oh, sure. Like they meant a lot to grandma, so I'll take them home. So off I go. And she was in Stratford. So I take all these plants in the perfect growing condition in Stratford and I carry them up to sad, dry, cold Thunder Bay. And I knew nothing about plants, like actually nothing at that time.
Yeah.
And I killed them immediately. And it's sort of that like, oh no, not only has my grandma passed, I've I've let her plants die. So it was sort of a moment where it's like, you know what I need to do? I need to learn how to do this. I need, like, my grandma did it for years. So I'm going to move to London, apply for horticulture school, and learn how to take care of these freaking plants. So that's kind of where it
Unbelievable.
all started. Yeah.
Too funny. And so you're because you're a grad of the Fanshawe's Hort technician program, right?
Yep.
And I
Yep.
think you were there on not much earlier than I was, but I know I was there after you, but I was in landscape design while
Hmm.
you were in Hort Tech. And
Or,
we've actually
yeah.
both since been asked back and we've actually both taught at Fanshawe,
Yeah. Yeah.
which
Absolutely.
is
So
who would have
it's all
thought?
full circle, right? Like
Yeah.
I looked at all the adults out in the world, and I still don't really feel like an adult some days, but I looked
Yep.
at the adults in the world teaching this program and went, oh my God, like they've got their stuff figured out. One day, how cool would it be to go back?
Mm-hmm.
And I still don't feel like I've got all my stuff figured out, but it's pretty cool to be back and like helping that next like generation and cohort of people who are going to take over the world. And I just cannot wait for them.
It's
Yeah.
so fulfilling to just give back. Like I know for me personally, Fanshawe's
Hmm.
really the students, the teachers that I had really made an impact in a way that I will never be able to fully pay them
Right?
back for. So then the
Yeah.
opportunity to then be that person, even just for one
Hmm.
student, you know,
Hmm.
oh my gosh, so so cool.
Yeah.
And
And to, yeah.
so also super exciting. You are now on like the board of LO, Landscape
Yeah.
Ontario, right? So
Yeah.
you were
So,
voted in as treasurer, right? Is that a
yeah.
1 year
So
stint or a 2 year stint?
it's 2 years in each position. So you do 2 years as the treasurer, and then you do 2 years as the vice, the second, first vice chair, president, and the second vice president, and then the president and the past president. So it's a 10-year journey essentially.
I
Hmm.
did not know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so I'm interviewing future president of Landscape Ontario. Oh my gosh. Is that what you're telling me? I didn't realize
Technically,
that's how it
yes.
works. That is
That is the
so cool.
progression.
Oh my
Yeah, that
gosh,
is the
that's even a
progression.
bigger deal than I realized. I thought like, oh, treasurer is like money person
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
president is not necessarily a money person. So
Right.
you do
And I
need to
think
kind of do it all.
a little bit. And the best
Huh.
part is that because Landscape Ontario is such a team, right? Like
Oh
no one
yeah.
works alone. There's no independent, whatever. Everybody works as a group. So Joe Sabatino, our controller at Landscape Ontario, he is the brains, right?
Yeah.
He is the one that manages everything. And we just get to bask in his intelligence and pick up bits and pieces and learn from him, which is the part I cannot wait for is learning from this level of professional in our industry.
Wow.
So
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
that is so exciting.
Hmm.
I'm like I'm so excited for you right now because I didn't even
Thank you.
realize that. It's like, oh wow, I've got a celebrity on the podcast.
Oh,
Welcome,
geez. No,
Madame
it's still
Future
just
President.
it's still just Pam the plant geek who
Still
happens to
just
do
Pam the
other
plant
things.
geek. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I saw you sipping a little something something.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
what are you drinking?
So, I waited for this moment actually. So to open this beer, I haven't even tried it before. And so it is a milk stout. And I will hold it to the camera. It will be backwards, I'm pretty sure, right? So
Nope, I can read it.
Clintar Shovel Crew Brew. So Clintar every year, if not twice a year, does their own custom brew through Powerhouse. Yeah, it's super fun. So and it's a
Why have I
staff
not
activity. So
seen them? Like, where do I have to buy them?
I
Directly
think you
from
just have to
Powerhouse?
like no, so it's just we are the ones that get it and then we distribute it. So normally it's just our staff and our customers that we share it with because we only get so much. It's sort of like a limited whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a big staff competition. So every season we pick a beer and a type. Well, the ownership team picks a beer and a type. Adam Timon does, and then we as a group get to pick a name, and then we all vote on it. And then one of our employees' talented wife, who is a graphic designer, actually does all of our labels for us. So yeah, and then we get to hand out all these really cool beers to our customers and our staff. And then
Oh
they
my
go and they take
gosh.
fun pictures in the landscape of where they are, and then we do a competition on who has the coolest pictures. Yeah, so it's kind of
That
just a fun
is
staff event
awesome.
thing. Yeah, so I have not tried it. This is my first sip, and I'm not usually a milk stout person, and I quite like it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm trying to think there's a another milk stout I want it or no, it's an IPA actually. I think it's called
Oh
Milkshake
yeah.
and the
Oh
can looks like
yes.
a cow. Have you seen it? I got to get that one on the podcast. That's a fun one.
Hmm. I
So
like
I'm
the ones that have
actually,
coffee in them normally.
yep, like coffee stouts, really
Mm-hmm.
nice. I've got
You
like a
bet.
little can. It's always so funny to me when a beer is like in a small can. So this is Sunburst. It's a New England style IPA from, or
Mm-hmm.
style pale ale from Stormstade Brewing here in London.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess their brewery is actually really cool. I've not yet been to the
Oh, really?
physical brewery, but my
Well, that's
only
what the next
complaint
thing we
is
should
that
do. Yeah.
you can only get this one in small cans, and it's so good.
Right.
Sunburst.
Yeah, most of
Very
their stuff they only do in the little ones. But yeah, we
yeah.
should go down there and you should try it. It's not too far from where I live, so we
Oh
tend to gravitate to it.
yes.
So, mm-hmm.
Interesting. So many ideas. So many ideas. And even not Powerhouse Brewing, but the Beer Garden now at Kellogg's.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um they have, I just walked in there after the last Landscape Ontario chapter meeting that was
Yeah.
upstairs. And I was like, beer garden? I gotta check this out. And it
Yeah.
is like a woman-owned beer
Really?
setup. And there's like a
Oh,
whole half section of like tons of beers on tap. So
I did not know that. That is really cool.
yeah, I thought so too. So I was looking forward to checking it out. I guess the women on site had a recent
Mm-hmm.
meeting at Powerhouse, and
They did.
I had a real bad case of the February blues, and I
Mm,
very much
wasn't
decided
feeling.
not to people.
Gotcha. I dig that
So
sometimes. Yeah.
yeah, I was
And you
really
got to be in
looking
the right
forward to it.
mindset.
And then oh, I when you're in that like low dark days, you don't want to be, I
Mm,
don't really want to be meeting new people because
yeah.
they're not
Yeah. And
getting
it's like
me
at
what I
your normal,
feel.
at the one that you want to show people, right?
Yeah.
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 Well,
So
there's
some
always
days I
next month.
just, right?
Hmm.
So next month.
Yeah. And
Excellent.
that's a fun group, actually. I've gone to a couple of their events and they are quite lovely. It's really cool to see all of those, young women spearheading different trades and different industries and how they
Hmm.
overlap. And it's surprising how many people we actually know in common and why we haven't run into each other before. So it's really neat
Yeah.
to leverage all those different networks because they intertwine with everything we do, even in landscaping, right? So,
So cool. And I mean, as
mhm.
uh like both of us, I think can attest to, we are both women, like female identifying women who work in a predominantly male
Yes,
industry profession. We are seeing
100%.
that change. We
It's great
are
to see the
like, there
change.
are huge numbers of women coming in that realize that, oh, it's not just about lugging heavy stone and soil. There's certain levels of detail that I think when you have a woman on a crew, there's just seems to be a little, I don't know, je ne sais quoi when it
Yeah.
all
And
gets finished up, and
yeah.
it's a nice balance, but it's nice seeing more women coming in.
Yeah, it's great to have that diversity, right? Everyone has a different lens and a different background and how they view things, and having that diversity within a crew, be
Yeah.
it women or any level of diversity, to be fair,
Yeah.
creates a more rounded workforce and a better end product at the end of the day.
Right. And how many different
Mhm.
businesses are we seeing starting to really embrace this concept of diversity? Because if we are
Right.
on a job site and we think we know everything, or if we have a
Hmm.
business and we hire a whole bunch of people who are like-minded or like us,
Hmm.
then you're going to have gaps, right? Like there's knowledge gaps and skill gaps, where if you can actually hire a diverse
You're going to be
force,
more well-rounded in
more
all
well-rounded.
aspects.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
absolutely.
cool, very exciting.
Hmm.
So I want to talk about some of your favorite outdoor places.
Okay.
Because I thought it was really cool. You were in the pre-podcast questionnaire, you were saying how your favorite places usually revolve around a special tree or a grove of trees.
Yeah.
And I think that's something really cool. So I'm just
Hmm.
wondering if you have some specifics that you're willing to share with the
Okay.
internet of these trees or
Yeah, yeah.
places.
It's something like you find, I don't know, maybe I have more tree friends than I have real friends, which makes me
I
even
get
more
that.
geeky. But yeah, yeah,
Yep.
maybe I resonate with them a little bit more than people, but it's good. So there's a couple places that I love to go. So over in the Coves, there is a London plane tree that's half dead and it's gnarly, and the whole center of the tree is gone. It's empty and hollow. You can see right up through it. The top is snapped off. It's like rejuvenated out over the coves and over the river. And like when you're there and you're sitting there quietly, there's like herons and there's turtles and there's all this crazy like nature stuff that happens, but
Hmm.
just sitting like close by it. And it's not too far. You know where the German Club is?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I do.
So
Okay.
beside the German Club, right off there at the coves, there's a little trail, and it's literally like a 2-minute walk off of their main parking lot. And
Huh.
you, once you see the tree, you always see it. So that's one of the ones that like I just like to sit beside because it's so old and it's been there forever and it's gone through so much in its life and it just keeps growing. It's incredible.
Yeah,
So
not giving
that's
up.
one. No, right? And then there is, I think it's called the Gathering Tree, which is a red oak in the middle of uh, oh goodness, words usually disappear in my brain some days.
Yep, I gotcha.
Westminster Ponds. Yeah, right.
Words?
Westminster
What?
Ponds. Words, where'd those go? Oh, they're in
Hmm.
my brain. They're just not coming out. But yeah, so Westminster Ponds has what's called the Gathering Tree, which is they think it's about a 400 or 500 year old red oak.
Oh my
And if you
gosh.
look on Google Maps, you can see the canopy of this tree. It's
That is
incredible. So
so
if you,
cool.
the easiest way to get to it is if you come off of Commissioners, there's a little tiny parking lot beside the train tracks
Yep.
up at Westminster. And if you go down the path and it kind of goes to a fork and you go off to the right into the forest first, you can't
Hmm.
miss it because once you see it, like 5 of us couldn't hug it. It's
Yeah.
massive, the caliper, right? And supposedly the story goes is that when Canada was supporting the Underground Railway, that was the meeting tree to
Oh my
support the people as
gosh.
they traveled through the Underground Railroad out of slavery. Yeah, right. So like the history in this being alone, just sitting with it or
Yeah.
even being close to it. It's a thumbs up moment.
It's amazing to think that every once in a while, you come across a story or a thing or a tree
Mhm.
and to to just think, like I can't even my brain can't even compute the fact that it was
Right,
alive and growing the same time of the Underground Railroad.
right.
And here it is still going.
Yeah. And supporting a
Like,
network and a system that you can't even imagine how like the importance and its impact. And it's like the carbon sequestration alone in a tree of that
yeah.
size and how it supports that biodiversity and network within like the mycorrhizae and the root systems, right? It's just, yeah.
Wow. I know
So
it's funny because I don't think I'm gonna start thinking though more about my tree friends. You've inspired me because there's
mhm,
definitely I know there's one, I think it's a London plane tree as well on
mhm,
the Kalele Trail.
mhm,
It's on the right side. I just remember when you come around and you see it and it's massive. Um,
mhm.
but I do have one tree in mind actually, and it's a ginkgo tree that's at the bottom of the hill
Okay.
when you go to Festival Theatre in Stratford.
Oh, yeah.
So when I was at Fanshawe, Larry Enns was teaching plant ID, and he would take us for plant walks. And we
Mhm,
actually went to Stratford for a plant walk to go through the gardens there at the Festival Theatre.
mhm,
And then you go
mhm.
down the hill, and there is this ginkgo that is just extraordinary. Like
Is it
I
at
know
that
that,
age that it has like all these quirky random lateral branches and it's not just like the straight up and down pencily
oh
bit?
yeah, like she's
Yeah.
old. She's old. She's
Nice.
seen some things, you know? It's like
I
one of
bet.
those trees. So,
Yeah.
oh my gosh,
Mhm.
so cool. Um,
There's another really good one, which, like, again, I could literally talk about all the fun trees that I find, but there is a Katsura clump over at the Springbank Gardens. So when you're over at Plant Symposium next week, you're going to look
yep.
at it because you're going to be right there. In the center of the roundabout, right at the front door, is a multi-stem Katsura that I've never seen anything quite like it before.
Huh.
And it is just an extraordinary tree. And if you're there in the fall, the whole area smells like burnt sugar or cotton candy. It just exudes from the leaves as they decompose. So that's
Yep.
another favorite one.
I remember there's a pretty old I can't I think it was planted in the 70s maybe at
Mhm.
the Arboretum at RBG. They have a Katsura and
Mm,
I was there right in fall and like cotton
mhm,
candy. You're right. There's nothing quite like the smell of a Katsura tree in autumn.
mhm. It's
So
beautiful.
cool.
Yeah.
Um, so for places that you visit, so trees, but let's talk about your own garden because
Okay.
you've got quite an impressive property, I think. And I've only
Thank
seen
you.
pictures because you never invite me over.
Oh,
It's okay.
we'll change that. It's all good.
I've also not invited anyone to my house. As people know, listening to the podcast, I have the worst property on the street. So maybe that will change this year.
You have
But
some impressive old cedars, though.
the ones that we cut down last year.
You had some impressive old cedars.
Yep, we did. Yep, we
But
did. And then
they
they
got
started
flattened in
growing
the
into the
storm, though,
eaves
right?
trough.
Mm.
Well,
Wrong,
with
right plant, wrong place.
yep, and we did have a like a 3-story juniper tree that came down. I think that was the same time you were at CLC because I think I
Mm.
called you and I was
What do I do? Oh
like,
no.
because it came down, lifted the roots, lifted up our whole fence line, and the tree came down on an angle.
Oh
So
my
kitty
goodness.
corner in our
Right.
yard,
Yeah.
so it didn't destroy the other fence, but it just happened to, but it pulled the fence up and out of the
Uh,
ground. And
mhm.
then the juniper tree is lying on the ground. It's like, so CLC,
A bit
help.
bigger than you want to deal with. Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
so,
Hmm.
but yeah, let's talk about your garden because I've seen pictures
Okay.
and I think it's really cool. And you guys have a lot going on.
Oh, there's always a, yeah, and it's
Yeah,
ever
which is so
evolving.
cool.
Like people ask like, "Oh, like how did you I was like, "Oh, I designed nothing." Like I love things, I get excited about things, I change things, and I think like my plant palette has evolved as everything does, right?
Yep.
So I started out with I was gifted a pretty beautiful property, and when we were looking for our sort of next home, it had a laundry list, and like honestly, it could have been a rundown shed as long as like the yard and the space and the forest and everything was what I wanted. Like I could survive in any house if my garden and my space was what I wanted. So
Mm-hmm.
we do back onto a green space in a forest. So that was like a need because like growing up in the forest, if I was going to live in the city, I at least needed some sort of like
Yep.
place to heal my soul a little bit. So
Mm-hmm.
I was gifted a garden full of fruits and berries. So it started out with raspberries and blackberries for days, peach trees and apple trees and pear trees, all of which have sort of ebbed and flowed. Some of them are there, some of them I tried to get rid of, and I'm gonna stop fighting them because they're gonna be here forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's kind of fun because it's just I get to play with things every year, and sometimes I get excited about vegetables and edibles, and then I deal with the wildlife that also likes all of my vegetables and
Right.
fruit. So
Yes.
yeah,
But
I've
they live
embraced
here
being
too,
everything.
right?
Exactly.
It's like,
Yes.
well, I
Yeah.
guess, you know,
Just grow
one
more.
carrot for me and the rest are for you.
I
So
was so sad. I was really excited to grow ground cherries a couple years ago. It wasn't
they're
last year's, the year
cool.
before. Oh, I love them. So I got a couple, right? So it's that whole you got to wait until they like drop from the plant and tells them they're really ripe. So I got the first couple off the ground. I was like, oh, these are delicious until a squirrel found them, and it was also delicious. And I had grown it from seed as a baby in my windowsill, basically in February because I was sad and I needed to grow something.
Yep.
And I went out to harvest some ground cherries and it probably had 200, 300 fruit. It was like it was awesome. And something stripped it to nothing. And I just went, well, ground cherries
Merry
are not my thing
Christmas to
anymore.
you.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So glad I put all that work into it.
Yeah. Especially the
Um,
growing from seed inside. So yeah. So it ebbs and flows because of that. And then like I want everything to eat my landscape, right? My theory is
yep.
if landscape isn't being eaten, it's not supporting anything. So I
Mm-hmm.
want there to be holes in leaves. I want their things to be, you know, defoliated so they can grow back and just support everything I can.
Yep.
It should be loud, full of birds and animals and things taking over. And I just get to sit back and watch it happen. That's the
I
best
love
part.
that. Love it.
Yeah.
We need more gardening like that for sure. I
Yeah.
have my backyard is almost complete shade
Mm.
and I am determined, even though it's my face squinched because as soon as I said I'm determined, I'm not determined enough to commit, but I realize this is
Mhm.
on the internet. So if I'm determined and I say it out loud, then I'm committing to it.
Sure.
But vegetables and berries and
Hmm.
edible things that you can grow in shady
Hmm.
conditions,
There's still some things. They
there are some
exist.
things. And I
Yeah.
am really struggling to find a resource like a
Oh,
book.
a
Um,
book.
how
Mm.
about a pamphlet? Like anything about what can I grow if I'm in dappled
Mhm.
shade? Like
Mhm.
there's gotta be stuff I can grow.
Spinach.
Um,
Spinach grows amazing in dappled shade, and it wants your
excellent.
shade.
Okay.
Hmm.
Challenge
Do you like
accepted.
spinach though?
No.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
that's
if
going to
you
be
put
tricky
enough
if you don't
ranch
enjoy.
dressing on anything, it tastes amazing. I'm also a
Sure.
big fan of deep fried stuff. So I mean, deep fried spinach, I'm
Hmm.
sure is good.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm gonna have to try it.
Yes.
Um, favorite plants. So talking about things and growing things that are edible, I love
Hmm.
one of the things that you mentioned are nasturtiums.
Yes.
Okay. And
Hmm.
so cool. So
I
these
love
are
nasturtiums.
like the leaves remind me of lily pads,
Hmm.
right? Just so cute.
Hmm.
There's a whole range of flower colors, usually oranges, yellows, whites, right? I think. I don't think there's
Yeah.
purples and pinks.
There's not as many. There's some dusty pinks and there's a
Okay.
lot of like red. So they get into like the
Yeah.
deep reds or the mottled
Like
reds.
scarlet.
So yeah. And there are some newer cultivars on the market that are more of that deep scarlety bright red, right?
Hmm.
So
And
yeah.
the taste is so cool. And I mean, to put
Epic.
flowers on a salad or a plate, it's like,
Hmm.
what? And then it tastes peppery.
Yeah.
So really,
Yeah.
really fun, especially
Just
with kids.
yeah. Yeah. My
That's
kids eat them all the
something.
time. And then they get mad about it because they eat too much of them and then they call it pepper eyes and then they get upset about it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, but the really fun thing is, so I've like this like love-hate relationship with like saving seeds and eating seeds because I want
Okay.
to save them and I want to grow as many as I can. But
Yep.
you can actually pickle nasturtium seeds and use them like capers. But I've never wanted to give that many of my nasturtium seeds, like fresh ones. I've never
Yeah.
wanted to forfeit enough of them to turn them into capers before.
Because that would require a lot of
Hmm.
seeds. Because per
Hmm.
flower
And
head, I didn't think you get that many seeds from
yeah,
one.
you get
Yeah.
three-ish if you're lucky.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you'd have to harvest them just when they're ripe too, because they've got to be green and still
Hmm.
really fleshy. So I like planting things more than I just
Yep.
collecting seeds and planting seeds and growing them. They're all different hobbies, right? So,
Yes.
hmm.
Yeah. I'm very guilty because I'm a landscape designer and I'm usually doing softscaping that I'll order all the plants for the client and I'll order it's like one extra of that plant because I don't have that one yet. And then I'll bring it home with the
Hmm.
intention of planting it.
Sure.
But actually our front walkway, so you can tell which house is ours on the street because our front walkway is bordered with plants in pots
Hmm.
because I don't know where I'm going to plant them.
I didn't know we were part of the same club. Look at us go.
We are we
I
have
have
we have
plants in
even
pots that need
more in
homes.
common than we realized. Like our teeth issues, but we're not going to talk
Mm.
about teeth on our podcast, okay?
No, not today. Okay.
Not today. So,
Hmm.
I was thinking about nasturtiums
Hmm.
and kids and
Hmm.
gardening. So you've
Yeah.
got two boys,
A
three,
boy and a girl.
boy and a girl.
A boy and a girl. Yeah, one of each. Yes.
Gotcha. So
Hmm.
excellent.
Yeah.
Um, we don't. So my husband and I, we've chosen not to have kids, but I love the opportunity and the challenge when designing a garden when there are kids in the household, right? It's
Hmm.
like what can we plant? What can we do? How can we organize the space to get the kids out there and experiencing stuff?
Hmm. Hmm.
And I'm kind of going on a segue here because none of this is on the questionnaire that I sent you before.
All
But
good. Take it away.
something that comes to my mind is the nasturtiums that we talked about and
Hmm.
cucamelons. Cucamelons
Melons.
are so cute. They're,
Hmm.
for anybody who doesn't know, it looks like a miniature watermelon. But it tastes kind of like a tart pickle that hasn't been pickled. I don't know, but it's really, really
Hmm.
fun. But is there
They are
anything else in
fun.
your garden that your kids like are really drawn to or that
So I let them pick something kind of new every year. I mean, they're a big fan of
oh, I
anything they
love
can
that.
eat, obviously, right?
Yep,
So like
me
when I'm
too.
starting seeds, I get buy-in from them about all the seed starting I do because my house turns into like every corner of every flat surface has a planting tray with a light.
Yeah.
But I let them pick something that they want to grow
Oh, that's
and
so
let them
cool.
help grow that. So it's sort of like the if you can't get your kids to eat their lunch, get them to make the lunch with you so that they're vested in what's happening.
Yeah,
So like if you can get them through the process of like, here is soil, here's a teeny tiny seed, this is what we do, this is how long it takes. And 4 months later, we finally get to eat something from it. So
yeah,
that's the biggest part is just being part of the process and finding
right.
something that they're excited about. We did pumpkins one year, which the squirrels ate all of them, which was fine. We did cucamelons, yeah,
Yeah.
sunflowers.
So is there stuff like edible, I don't know, herbs or veggies that you find you generally have good luck with?
Good question. Tomatoes.
Yep.
Normally tomatoes go really well in my garden. But the last couple of years, again, the squirrels have found out that I have a buffet and they're all invited. So that's not helpful. So I've switched to spicy things. So it
Ah.
deters them a little bit. So hot peppers are usually interplanted in a lot of things. So they may take a bite of a pepper and then realize pretty quickly that maybe everything in my
Oh,
garden doesn't taste good. Yeah.
right.
Um, the blackberries go over really well though, too. And the
Okay.
raspberries. Hmm.
I made the error last year because my husband and I mean, he loves spicy peppers and I like the more sweet peppers.
Hmm.
And I got a whole bunch. Like, I'm embarrassed to even admit how many different varieties of pepper seeds that I had bought. And I
Hmm.
thought I was being really clever because we have this one raised garden bed. And I thought I'm going to plant all of my sweet peppers on the left, all of his spicy peppers on the right.
Hmm.
No problem. Except one of his spicy ones migrated and looked like one of the sweet peppers. And I don't
No.
even know what I was making, but I very casually, hun, can you just go grab one of the red peppers from the left side of the bin
Hmm.
and we'll do this. And I cut it and all I did was lick my fingers.
Oh
And it
no.
was a not a scorpion pepper, a oh my gosh, it starts with a C. I can't think of it, but it's like Armageddon pepper or something
Oh no.
obnoxious. And I was
Like
hurting
crazy.
for days. And all I did was lick my finger. And
Well, at
I
least you
also,
licked your finger first and didn't get it
yeah,
anywhere
not in my
else.
eyes, because that would have
Oh my
been
goodness.
bad. But I had like burn here, and because of my anxiety, I chewed the cuticles around my nails. And so
Yeah.
all of that oil got in there and ugh.
Oh,
So
yeah.
no more spicy peppers this year.
Right. Yeah.
He's gonna have a designated plot that he can touch,
Maybe it's a front yard, backyard vibe.
right? Yeah,
Keep it super separate.
no more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we still got about 7 minutes left. Let's talk about
Sure.
houseplants.
Mm-hmm.
So have you got either something that you're super into and you collect and you do really well with, and or is there a houseplant that you're really struggling with?
So, if you had to decide if I'm a jungle lady or like a contemporary houseplant lady, what would you guess?
Jungle, for sure.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
am also. I
Mm-hmm.
have in my studio, I have one plant shelf.
Mm-hmm.
But when I open this door, our entire front hallway, it's the only area that gets
I
sunlight
know.
in the afternoon.
Sunshine. Yeah.
It's a sea of plants. And in
Hmm.
our washroom, we have a like a bathtub that's in the corner. So there's the
Hmm.
bath and then a shelf. So it is all covered
Oh,
in
very
plants.
good. Yeah.
So yes, so jungle plant lady Pam.
Jungle plant lady plant. Yes. So I'd say that my favorite things to grow are philodendrons. I'm a big fan of philodendrons. I've got a lot of epipremnum as well. So just the easy stuff for the
Hmm.
most part. Occasionally I'll splurge on expensive things and I worry that like I worry about the expensive things and like my ability to keep them alive, which I don't know
Yep.
why, because I can usually keep anything alive if I pay enough attention to it. So
Right.
but yeah, I was part of the COVID let's get as many plants in my life to keep my joy alive vibe.
Hmm.
So it went from, two or three, that's cute. And then they got bigger and bigger. And then I was like, okay, well, they're still not big enough. Maybe I need three or four more plants.
Yep.
And it just kind of grew from there. So
Oh, hello.
there's a
Who's
little.
this?
This is Waverly. She
Hello,
is,
Waverly.
you want to come up and say hi? Say hello, peek your head up. Say
Oh, you're
hi.
like a movie star. Hello.
Hello, Tiny. Okay. Can you
We're
give me
talking
5
about
minutes?
plants.
We are talking about plants. Does mom have a lot of plants? How many plants? So many, right? Okay, off you go.
So many. I can't even
Yeah,
count that high,
so
Mom.
many. My son is on plant watch duty, so if any new plants come into the house, he's like, Mom, we're not
Ah,
supposed to get more plants. There's no room in the house for plants. I'm like, well, let me kill one and I'll bring a new one in.
yeah, I don't think you need that kind of negativity in your life, right? Or
Although
what?
I have run out of surface area, so it's probably a good threshold of not. But yeah, I tend
That's my
to,
current rule. When something dies,
yeah,
then I can buy something new.
There you go. And then propagating them. So I just take cuttings. I like to learn. I think that's the biggest thing. I like experimenting with plants and I like
Yep.
failing at them and learning from them and then doing it again. And I like to
Hmm.
find really basic ways to propagate things that doesn't take too much extra effort. So I'll
Right.
take, those like takeout containers,
Hmm.
the plastic ones, clear lids, whatever, shove them full of moist sphagnum and just shove cuttings in them and then put
See
them
what
on the
happens.
shelf for 3 months and see what happens.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's just sort of a constant science experiment
Oh
because
my
as much as I'm
gosh.
crazy plant lady, I'm crazy science lady. So there's cuttings and divisions and some things don't work and you open the container and you're like, well, that's moldy and I'm going to die.
Yeah.
You're in the garbage and other things are super successful. So
Right. I've got a fishbone cactus that did not was not doing very well. So I just cut it up
mhm,
into pieces and I'm attempting
mm,
to propagate it. And if it does,
sure.
great. And if not,
Hmm.
I'll just buy another fishbone cactus. So
Yeah. And
and
I also
probably
have
kill it
plants
too.
that are not meant to be in my life, right? If you can't live in my garden without all the extra love, I'm not into things that can't survive and where like right plant, right place, or I break the rules and it's not supposed to be there and then it
Yeah.
dies. But I'm about the plants that can live with my love.
Yes. Right plant,
Hmm.
right place. That's like having a
Hmm.
consultation with a client and they're in full
Hmm.
shade clay and they want lavender.
No,
You just tell them no.
no.
Like I'm sorry, no.
Hmm. Mm-mm.
But
Because
make it
yeah, and
happen. No.
yeah, and I'm not here to sell heartbreak, right? Like, let me
Yeah.
give you some basic information about where we're talking lavender, we're talking super, super well drained, sandy soil, super, super sunny. It's, think of where it's natively grown, and it's not in your full clay, full shade backyard.
Nope. Sorry. Not today
Yeah,
or any day. If you want
yeah.
lavender in your backyard, move.
Or put it in a pot. Find a
Yep.
spot, put it in a pot, and enjoy it that way.
There you go.
Hmm.
So we have about 2 minutes left here. So I just want to
Sure.
scroll ahead. So Clintar, you guys are always hiring, right? Like you guys are
Always.
often looking for staff. So if
Hmm.
anybody's tuning in, you're in the London area. Clintar also
Hmm.
has offices in other areas as
Yeah,
well,
so
right?
there's 26 currently. I believe it's 26 franchises across Canada. So if there's anyone
So,
looking for, and the cool thing is because we do so many things, there's kind of a place for most people at Clintar when it comes
yeah.
to commercial, industrial, maintenance, and residential. We dabble a little bit of residential, but not all franchises do. But
Yep.
I always like to encourage people. There's something to learn about landscaping, and if you haven't tried a certain aspect, even if you don't like it, it
Mm-hmm.
adds to your overall understanding about installation and maintenance and that learning level, right? So even if you do something you
Absolutely.
don't like for a bit, learn you don't like
You'll
it.
learn something. Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
totally.
Oh my gosh, there's
Yeah,
so many things that I wanted to talk about on this episode,
it's all
and
good.
we'll just have to have a Pam part two, which is fine. But with about less than a minute left, is there a
Hmm.
book that you would recommend either for professional or personal development that you think people should read? Really quick.
Mm. Oh no. Okay, so I just read one called The New Farm, and it's
Okay.
written by a local author out of the Creemore area, and it's about their trials and tribulations about learning how to do an organic farm. Like they were like downtown Toronto people, and they moved to Creemore and they bought property and said, "We're gonna fuck around and figure it out." And it is a really cool read and learning about like agriculture and a spin-off from our industry. Obviously, it's still parallel, and
Love
it's
it. I'm going to
really
cut you off though, because we're going to get cut
do it.
off, but that is awesome.
Perfect.
So it's called The New Farm. Pam Cook,
The New
everybody
Farm.
from Clintar. Thank you so much for coming onto the podcast.
Thanks for the invite, Heather. We'll talk soon.
That concludes this week's episode. Tune in every Wednesday for someone new and some new brew. Don't forget to click the follow button to stay in touch. See you next time.